Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another live edition of Mic'd Up Sports, the show that goes in depth to people who build our sports community. And joining us is a recurring guest on our podcast series. She has been on a few times, and we're always happy to bring her back. And since the last time you saw Ivane Tensaie, she's had some pretty big developments. She had a terrific season at North Dakota State College of Science, and that set the stage for her to accept an offer from Penn State. As you can see on her shirt, she will be joining the Big Ten next year as a member of the Penn State Nittany Lions. And Ivane, being a Minnesota graduate, things might get a little dicey when those two teams play each other on the schedule, but I just hope you go easy on Minnesota a little bit. I tease, of course, but thanks for coming back on. And we'll start with that. I remember a couple of years ago, we brought you on and you discussed the journey, the decision to attend a junior college because you weren't getting enough offers in your target area. Since then, well, you had a bunch to choose from. I know you and I had been talking about it throughout the season. So how exciting and how gratifying was it to achieve that goal you sought, to get the opportunity to play for a Division I school?
Man, I'm so grateful, like, for just all the opportunities I've had this year. Like, obviously this was the goal, going to junior college. I wanted to go D1. I felt like I could play at that level, and so I chose to bet on myself, and it was the best decision I ever made. Yeah, I really couldn't have asked for much more out of this season. I'm just super grateful for the way everything turned out.
Looking back on it, how nervous were you about the experience? You took a bet on yourself, but as you know, it's never easy to do that when you go out there and test the waters. So as you were working your way through your junior college season at NDSCS, what was your mindset like, and how did you stay focused?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was I guess a risky decision, you could say. But I mean, I was confident in myself. I was confident that God was gonna help me throughout the whole thing. I feel like that's what, kept me going the whole way. Definitely was nerve-wracking, but I was more so just excited, for the future and the possibilities. I was more so looking at it that way, for just to look at it like there's so much opportunity to be had, rather than like, oh no, what if this doesn't work out? So yeah, I feel like that's what kept me going, and my faith definitely did.
Well, what's nice about junior college is, if I'm correct, you would have had another year to work things out if things didn't go exactly as planned. So take us through this year with NDSCS. You lit up the stat sheet, which comes as no surprise to me, seeing you at Concordia Academy all those years. But if you haven't been following the junior college circuit, to give you a sense, Ivane averaged over 20 points per game. She hit 131 three-pointers, shot 89% from the free throw line. So all of the attributes that she was known for at Concordia Academy, she continued, at least if the numbers are an indication. I could be completely off base. No, I tease. So what was the experience like, and when did you get that first D1 offer? Because if I recall, you had about 17 or 18.
Yeah. So I mean, coming into it, like, I mean, college basketball, you kind of hit the ground running right away, workouts, preseason, all that. But I mean, it went really well. Like, I mean, I feel like me and my teammates also just clicked right away, just from like our first scrimmages together. And then like heading into the season, I just felt like we had a bond, and I feel like that gave me the confidence to be able to play my game too. and just, not have to worry about, clicks and, worry about, coaches getting on me and stuff. Like I felt like they believed in me, and so I was confident to be able to, do what I do, and I'm really grateful for that. And obviously, the numbers are crazy. I really did not expect to, you know, I expected success, but not at that high of a level. So yeah, I'm really just grateful for it. And so like going into December around Christmas time is when I got that first offer from NDSU, and then from there on it just kind of took off.
What did you make of the litany of offers you were receiving? I know that was your goal, but one offer turned to 5, then 10, and all of a sudden,
Right.
I don't want to say you had too much of a good thing, but your goal was to get the chance to play Division I basketball and to see all of these coaches give you consideration.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, like I definitely did not expect, that much attention from it. But I mean, it was definitely overwhelming at times, but at the same time, like I mean, I'm just gonna keep saying it again, like I was so grateful for it because like this is what I wanted. Um, like I saw that the work paid off, and trusting myself and trusting God paid off. So it was a really exciting time. Just to be able to know that, I took this chance and it paid off. So
And a lot of athletes in your position have gone the JUCO route before settling on a college at the next level. So, what is it like? You mentioned you start the ground running. The preparation is the same as your traditional D1s, D2s, D3s. It's the same sport. You have the same objective. You want to play to the best of your abilities. And NDSCS, I know, is one of those programs that fields a lot of competitive players. But what would you say are some of the similarities compared to other levels of basketball we might watch, and some differences at the junior college level?
yeah, I would say definitely like JUCO kind of has a stereotype of like it's just competitive like atmosphere like all the time, which it is. Um, I would say definitely just like the intensity level from like college compared to high school, it's just like it's way more emphasized. Even in practice, like each possession matters like that much more. So yeah, I would say just the intensity level was raised, whether it was during conditioning, individual workouts, practice, whatever it was. There's just like a higher level, a higher standard that you're held to. And I feel like that's what helped me gain even more success this year is just being held to that level every day.
And just for posterity, Ivane, if you can help remind me, I believe you won a region title this season.
Yeah. Yeah. We won the conference, region, and district.
What did you enjoy most about the experience? Junior college doesn't get the fanfare or the publicity that the traditional schools do, but as you and NJ Weems comes to mind after she went the JUCO route, found a D1 school, and some players who are coming up behind you. There are no, I know of at least 2 Minnesota athletes who are going to suit up for NDSCS next year. What did you enjoy most about the experience? You, yes, it's a stepping stone for another chapter in your story, but that bet on yourself paid high dividends.
Yeah. Well, obviously, just like I love basketball, so just being able to like play the game, just be out there on the court with my teammates was awesome. But I would say like the best part was just like off the court with my teammates. I think a lot of times also in JUCO, like there's the stereotype that like because it's such a competitive atmosphere that like people, might tend to butt heads or like not get along very well. But that wasn't the case at all, like with my team. Like those girls have really meant a lot to me like throughout this year. And I'm sad to leave them now, but I know it's because, we're all going on to something, better that we all wanted for ourselves. So yeah, but I would definitely say just the bond that we created together it was truly something special. So
And an element that you can attest to now, you're out there, you're trying to play well, but you're almost repeating the experience you went through in high school as far as navigating the field of offers and gauging what fit is best for you. What was it like having to go through that again? Of course, with the high school season, your senior year was anything but traditional since it
yeah.
came during the year of COVID protocols. But this past year, people could view games. There were no limits. So all of your performances were available for anyone to see. And you certainly put together a lot of highlights. But what is it like having to go through the recruitment process again?
Yeah, I mean, it was it was very difficult, but it was rewarding because, like, especially just like the time period of it all, just, getting recruited mainly in like January, the second half of the season, you're really trying to like lock in before playoffs and all that, try to hit your stride with your team. So it was difficult to kind of like navigate both at the same time. Um, but I mean, I'm so happy with the way things panned out. Yeah, I mean, it was all just it was more than I could imagine, so I was grateful for it. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying that again. But yeah, definitely a difficult process, but it was very rewarding in the end.
So, of all the offers you got, you chose Penn State. What led you to join the Nittany Lions, and how difficult was it? Because you go from not getting enough offers out there to having, like you said, close to 20. And no matter what the number is, I think one of the hardest decisions is picking one school. But what led you to settle on Penn State amidst all of the offers and all of the visits you got to make?
Yeah, I mean, to put it simply, like they really just had everything I was looking for, when it comes to making an impact on a team, a program that's like focused on relationships and values that, and then like a program that wants to compete at the highest level possible and be competing for championships and stuff like that. So I feel like Penn State was something that offered all of those things. And I feel like as a program, they're like heading in a really good direction. So I wanted to be a part of that, and just like being on campus and being able to visit, like I felt comfortable there. I felt at home there. So, I mean, really everything just came together.
What are you most excited about as you make that transition? Penn State, they've had some success in the past, and I know they're trying to work their way back up there. Like you said, they're slowly moving in the right direction, as you put it. But what excites you about this opportunity to have a hand in Penn State's course?
Yeah, I mean, really, this has just been like a dream all my life to be able to play like at the Division 1 level. So it's like, how can you not be excited about that now? I finally accomplished that. And then just being part of like Penn State, just a part of the culture, the staff, I feel like they have a lot to teach me and I have a lot to learn from them. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, just to be like surrounded by, people who I feel are really gonna bring me up and I'm gonna, you know, create good bonds with and everything. So I'm excited for all of it, to be honest.
What would you say is the most challenging aspect of balancing the recruiting process and also focusing on your studies? It's something you had some practice with, some experience with at the high school level, but the curriculum changes a little bit in college. I wouldn't say it's tougher, but it certainly requires a higher degree of time management than high school. And because I saw your social media, you were busy with visits and giving us glimpses of what you might look like in different uniforms. Although I'd say you look pretty good in Navy. uh, so, what was that like, and how did you balance that aspect once you started getting offers amidst your season of success at NDSCS?
Yeah, I feel like just in that situation, it's kind of hard to not let like one part of your life kind of take over the other parts and all that. Definitely time management is very important. Just being able to like set aside time for like each thing. Like, okay, I'm gonna do schoolwork right now. Okay, I'm gonna, go get this workout in later. Okay, like I gotta plan out like my week so that I'm making sure that I stay on top of all of my stuff and I don't fall behind and everything. So I would say definitely time management was the hardest piece of that. But it is what it is. You gotta get take it in stride and do things one thing at a time. Can't rush any steps or anything like that. So
Well, you certainly did take it in stride. As I reflect on all the times I saw your photo appear in Player of the Week awards and related accolades, as you mentioned a few minutes ago, you weren't expecting to break out the way you did. What do you think that says about you as an athlete? You put up big numbers at Concordia Academy and left as the first member of the 2,000 point club. And you continue that at NDSCS. So, as I think you alluded to, it's not a guarantee that every star on a high school team is going to parlay those numbers into the college level, but you were able to do that. And I have no idea what's going to happen at Penn State, but the numbers are only a small part of who you are. But what do you think your performance says about you and the work you've put in to give yourself this opportunity?
yeah. So I mean, like you said, I wasn't expecting, things to blow up the way they did. But one thing, I mean, and I talked to my brother Roby about this a lot. He always reminded me at the end of every conversation, he always said, one, trust God, and two, put in the work. So, I mean, I feel like those two things are kind of what exemplified like my journey this year, like, through all of it from beginning to end. Just staying true to myself, but also just like trusting God, put in the work, and that's the only thing I got to focus on. Not the numbers, wins and losses, anything like that. Just focus on the main two things. That's it.
And one element that contributed to this season, the camaraderie that you spoke of. Now, I don't have any knowledge, so I wasn't aware about the junior college stereotypes. I just saw it as an option for students that, like yourself, were looking to get an offer or find something better than what they were getting in high school. So I wasn't aware of some of the stereotypes that come with it. And I can understand the competition because if you're on a junior college roster, well, all of them are looking to use it as a platform to find the school or find the right fit, find something along the lines that they were seeking. But now that your school year is done, you finished your last final about an hour ago, but
Yeah.
now that it's all done, what do you think helped establish this camaraderie with you and your teammates where, yeah, all of you, I imagine, are looking to find schools to play for, but it sounds like everyone understood there was a mission along that path and you did your best to achieve it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'd be able to like point to a certain thing, but I mean, it was really just like instantaneous. I really don't know what it was. Probably like a testament to our coaches recruiting, just bringing in, good people who, want to work hard and, want to get along with each other. So, yeah, I really couldn't pinpoint a specific thing. We just clicked right away and, we've been rocking with each other ever since. So.
And with your school year finished, what are some of your favorite memories in the classroom, on the court? Looking back on this, how would you rate your experience and how would you use that to guide others? As we noted, there actually are some more Minnesota high school recruits coming to NDSCS next year. What would you tell future members who consider the junior college route?
Yeah, I mean, well, first part of that question, just favorite memories, stuff like that. I mean, obviously, like the championships, like, I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. That's the goal at the end of every season. That's the dream. So, those are definitely, times I won't forget. But I mean, more than that, even just like going to eat at the caf together, like after practices, just the conversations we'd have there, movie nights in each other's dorms, just like hanging out with each other, like those are just little moments that like you don't take lightly and that, I won't forget for a very long time. So yeah, those were probably the best things. But I'm excited for, I mean, I know like Tiny Lewis going to NDSCS, Grace Massacoy. I'm really excited for them. I think they're gonna do great. And I'm excited that, people are starting to take this chance more and like, bet on themselves and, trust their hard work and stuff like that. I feel like JUCO is becoming, um it's more of a like an option that people would consider now, which I mean I love. And I think people should do it. I mean, if you believe in yourself and you feel like you aren't getting the looks that you should be getting, like take the chance, bet on yourself, and what happens. At least you went for it. So yeah, I'm excited for like this next generation coming up and doing that.
You say that now. I wonder in a couple of years if Grace or Tiny make their way to rosters, especially if they go to rival Big Ten schools. I wonder, will that opinion stay the same?
Definitely will. It will.
Well, you've got some skills to take them on too. I think that helps.
That'd be fun though.
It would be. Well, in Tiny, she was one of the quickest players I had ever seen. I watched some of her tape at St. Cloud Cathedral, got to see her in AAU and at Minnehaha, and all of her teammates said she's too fast. No one can keep up with her. So you might have your hands full if you have to go against her at some point.
Right.
Or you know what, maybe you can work your match and you get her to Penn State.
Right.
But we'll see what happens. There's a lot that goes into college recruiting. Now, I'm curious, Ivane, among yourself and your teammates, were there any favorite movies from the movie nights you all hosted?
Oof. I mean, we watched a lot of Disney. So it was like, Raya and the Last Dragon was one of the recent ones. Me and one of my teammates have been watching the Narnia series in the past week. So, I mean, those are probably, top tier, I would say.
And what goes into that process as far as who picks the movie, how many get together? Because I could see amongst an entire roster, there might be some difference in film interests.
Right. I mean, we've been more so doing it like recently, but I mean, it's kind of just like we go on like Disney Plus or like Netflix or whatever, and we just scroll through until we see one that we're like, oh, let's watch that one. So, I mean, not a ton that goes into it, but it's definitely fun just to be able to do that together.
On a related subject, were you able to persuade anyone to take up watching The Office?
I think like most of my teammates have already like seen at least a few seasons, so that wasn't too difficult. So
I think I'm starting to understand how you and your teammates bonded so quickly. If all of you
yeah.
have seen The Office, because I recall you've watched it the entire series 5 or 6 times over. So
Yeah, something like that.
actually, you might enjoy this. Recently, Wayne Gretzky paid homage to one of the memes associated with the show. I think the quote, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take,"
Oh yeah.
with Gretzky part of the NHL on TNT crew. So he held up a sign with the quote attributed to Wayne Gretzky and then attributed to Michael Scott, who was referencing Gretzky. I thought of you because of going, yep, we have reached, this meme has gone full circle.
I
So,
love that. Love that.
but that makes perfect sense why you got along so well. If they weren't into the office, you would have had some work to do. But since everyone has seen it, you all could connect, and you probably had a bunch of references or one-liners from the show that you could
Right.
relate to the season. So at least that part was easy. Now, I guess you'll have to see. Do you know if anyone at Penn State are fans of The Office, or are you going to have to work your magic there?
I'm not sure yet. I'll have to find out.
Looking back on this season, you tackled your studies, you excelled on the basketball court. As you said, this bet on yourself worked out. It can be daunting. And I imagine there were some moments where maybe some nerves settle in, but what do you think you gained from this experience that wouldn't be there had you taken another path? Say you decided to play for a D2 school or some other schools that were taking a look at you initially. What do you think this experience did for you?
I mean, I feel like the biggest thing, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but it gave me the opportunity to like pursue my dreams, even further. I mean, it was always the goal to play Division I and go pro afterwards. And, I'm finally reaching that first part of the big dream. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of the main thing, to be honest. And I feel like, I had to take the chance just to like be able to see like, is this possible? So I'm glad I did it.
Are there any teams that you're excited to play? Well, I'm sure for you, I don't think there won't be a game you're excited to play, but since you're going to the Big Ten Conference, you're going to cross paths with a lot of other Minnesota athletes, including the quartet of incoming Gophers, Adalia McKenzie, who's at Illinois,
Yeah.
Ronnie Porter and Savannah White, they're going to Wisconsin. And Sarah Scalia, she'll be at Indiana. And I would, I'm going to run out of things to say. There's so many players in just one me, but what teams or players are you excited to go against?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for every game, like you said. But I feel like it'll definitely be a fun environment to play at the barn in Minnesota. Just be back home, have my family be able to come and watch and all that. And then also like my head coach at Penn State, she's from Roseville. So I mean, I'm sure she'll have a lot of family there too. So I feel like that'll just be a fun environment and atmosphere to play in. So I'm excited for that one. And then just like you said, I mean, getting to play against Adalia again and Ronnie and Savannah, like, I mean, that'll just be a really like full circle type of moment. So I'm really looking forward to that for sure.
And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get the chance to put your 3-point sharpshooting skills to the test against Caitlin Clark, who dazzled just about everyone this past season. Well, you hit over 100 yourself at NDSCS. I don't know how that will translate to Penn State, but that could be a fun matchup. I don't know if I would be adventurous enough to guess who could get more 3-pointers in such a matchup.
I guess we'll have to see.
You'll be ready for it, right? Though you've got some 3-point shots in the tank.
Yeah, I got it for sure.
I take it you'll be working on that range too.
Yeah, I got to.
Watch out. We're going to be seeing 3-pointers from the half court line the entire game. Actually, another perk that I thought of as you were discussing this. So not only do you get to reconnect with some of the kids you grew up with in the high school and AAU circuits here, but starting next season, and I think for at least the next couple of years, the conference tournament will be held at Target Center. So you get to make another homecoming
Yeah.
on top of the regular season visits. Now, I'm sure you would have loved the chance to play the Final Four that was held there this past year, but
Yeah.
knowing you'll get to come home at least a couple of times, how exciting is that? Where you'll have a couple of chances to reconnect with the communities who watched you turn into a headliner at Concordia Academy and transform yourself into this kid that is going to get the chance to play D1.
Yeah. It's a really exciting opportunity. I mean, I found out the Big Ten tournament was gonna be in Minnesota while I was actually on one of my visits at Rutgers, and that was like right after my Penn State visit too. So just knowing that, being in this conference, like I'll be able to come back home like a few times, play in front of family and friends, and just be, an example of like this process working out. That's really exciting to me, and I'm excited for it. I'm just looking forward to, getting out there and finally playing games, and yeah.
We were speaking about the influence your brother has played, and I know the two of you have a strong friendship. How
Yeah.
did that help you in this? I don't want to call it gap year, but this year of navigating NDSCS, where you weren't sure how many offers you were going to get. Obviously, it worked out, but having someone like him in your corner, how big is that?
Yeah, that really meant a lot to me. Just, I mean, my whole family, but especially him, just being able to, call him up like anytime. Sometimes we'd like FaceTime like 3 times a day, just talk about things. But yeah, he's always been so supportive of me, always believed in me. And then like someone who's been willing to like push me to like the highest level, possible. So yeah, he's been very influential and important in my process and my development as a player and as a person. And he's really just grounded me throughout this whole thing from, when I had 0 offers all the way up until, I don't even know how many. So yeah, he's been a rock for me for sure.
Not only did you have Division I aspirations, but you mentioned you would love to get the opportunity to play professionally after you're done with college.
Hmm.
I'm sure you'd be more than happy to get an offer to play in the WNBA, but what are you considering, and what do you think it will take to reach that level for an opportunity, a chance to play professional basketball?
Yeah, I think that's something that like Penn State sold me on too, as well as just being able to develop me into a player that can play at that level professionally, whether it's the WNBA overseas. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they have a history of that, and then like the coaches that they've even brought in recently, they have a history of playing professionally in the WNBA and overseas. So they know what it takes. They've been there, they've done that. So I'm excited to learn from them. Definitely gonna take a lot of hard work and dedication, but I'm excited for it. Just because I'm already one step closer to accomplishing that. So yeah, I'm just excited for what's next.
Do you have any majors planned once you get to Penn State? And what are your goals in the education front?
Yeah, so I'm studying psychology, possibly wanting to get my master's in sports psych, just because I always want to be involved in like the sports realm and basketball specifically. Um, Not sure exactly what I want to do with it yet, but maybe something along the lines of like coaching or training, something like that. I just know I always want to be involved in the sport, so that's kind of the direction I'm heading in right now.
Well, if coaching becomes part of your journey, I know at least a couple of former coaches you had at the high school level who would be more than happy to give you an olive branch. And how have you, if you don't mind, mentioning this, how have you maintained those friendships? Because if I recall, you did some workout sessions before your year at NDSCS over at Southwest Christian, where Tiffany Stubbs is. And of course, you got to play for Matt Pryor for a season. And every time your name comes up, they both lit up. Speaking of the leadership and the talent you possess, how have you maintained some of the friendships you built in high school?
Yeah, I mean, Tiffany, like, she's just been, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, she's really just become like an older sister to me at this point. I spent actually most of the summer with her at Southwest Christian. I got to, meet her players and, work out with them. So yeah, that's a relationship that will truly like last a lifetime. So I'm really grateful for Tiff and the influence she's had on my life. And then Pryor, I mean, I only got 1 year with him, but I mean, I feel that was a very, it was an important year in my, career so far. Just being able to, be a freshman starting varsity, kind of grow into that leadership kind of role on my high school team, with him it was super cool to me. And just, seeing that he appreciated the hard work that I was putting in, and that he was able to, willing and able to open up the gym for me anytime. Yeah, so that was really cool. And it was a special thing that, we were able to start building at Concordia. So yeah, I'm really grateful for both of them, and just being able to see the support that they still have for me is super awesome.
Well, I'd like to think that those two and maybe some former teammates of yours will be part of that fan section when Penn State makes their next visit here.
Right.
Well, if anything, if I learned anything, I went to go see Adalia McKenzie this past year. Ivane, you better be ready to have a massive sea of insanity waiting for you after the game, because when Adalia made her visit, it's like her entire high school team was there and a bunch of other people she met. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get a similar reception. It was supposed to be senior night for the Gophers, but when you look at all the people that came out, we don't forget our athletes easily, even if they don't wear our colors. So I hope you're ready for that, Ivane.
Man.
I could see it now. Tiffany, Matt, or some of the other people you've had the chance to connect with, I could see them all conspiring to buy out an entire section.
That'll be a really cool moment.
I'm sure they'll do what they can to make it happen. Now, I asked something along this line before when we were exploring your high school career last year a couple of years ago. I've lost track of time with all the podcasts and all the games I've been doing, but looking back on your season with the Wildcats at NDSCS, what was your most exciting moment with the team and your most embarrassing moment?
Oof. Most exciting was probably when we won the districts to go to nationals. Most embarrassing. Oof. I always have trouble with like the most embarrassing questions, because it's like I feel like I just block it out of my mind, so like I don't even remember it. But
that isn't the worst mindset to have as a player. If you do something silly next play, that's what links coaches, when I cover the team, that's what they would always tell their players: if you make a mistake, next play. So
yeah,
there are worse things to have, but can you think of something?
I mean, not specifically. I feel like I've said this before, but just like anytime you like airball a shot, I feel like that's just like yikes, But I mean, I can't remember like a specific thing. It's not coming to me right now, but
Well, I like to think it's because you're just too good, that you're too good to have any silly moments. Well, what do you mean definitely not that? I mean, you had 20 points, 20.8 points per game, 42% from 3-point range, 89% from the free throw line. I mean, how many players would kill for those numbers, Ivane.
I appreciate that though.
Yeah, I really think you're just too good. I can see it. That nothing will phase you next year at Penn State. And so is there anything else you'd like to add about your junior college year, what you're looking forward to as you transition to Penn State, and how, and perhaps even how your story might inspire others, whether it's at Concordia Academy, Southwest Christian, or maybe someone you've never met who might go back and watch some of your games throughout your time as a basketball player? What would you like to say?
I mean, I'm just so grateful for like this year, what it's taught me, like the relationships I've built. It's really meant so much to me. And I really can't like express that enough. But as for like what I want to say, like I said it even last time in the podcast that we did before, like bet on yourself, you know. For me, it was the best thing I ever did. Going JUCO was the best decision I've ever made. And I stand by that. So yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, I would say just keep the main theme the main thing. Focus on, for me, it's my main two things: trust God and put in the work. So yeah, that's what I would tell anybody out there, you know. Bet on yourself and do those two things, and you know, just trust the process. Because you know, it really does work out for your benefit. So yeah, I'm just so grateful for this year, and I'll never forget it.
I do have one request, Ivane. If you have any poll, if Penn State is in need of any broadcasters, I am available.
I will be sure to keep that in my mind.
And referencing the podcast, I know you've been on multiple times. I'm thinking, oh, if you break any more records, you'll have to bring a teammate or maybe someone from NDSCS on to quiz them on that, because that was one of my favorite moments with you and Grace.
Yeah.
And Grace is going, "Are you kidding me? I don't." And you made one remark, oh, when you broke the school record, and I was trying not to burst out laughing, but when you said, even he knows that. Like, yeah, I've been around this sport too long. I'm knowing if I know when players set records or scored 1,000 points, and I know this more than your own teammates, I'm going, yeah, maybe I need to find another sport here.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for too long. Well, and I certainly wish you luck, and perhaps some others will take inspiration from your example, whether it's some of your current teammates who may be returning for another year, or folks who are coming after you, like Grace Massaquoi and Tiny Lewis, and who knows how many others will consider the junior college route. But in my experience, I know of at least 2 players, yourself and NJ Weems, who went that route and found what they were looking for doing it. I certainly hope that list gets bigger.
Agreed, for sure.
Well, Ivane Tensaie, thanks again for sharing the next leg of your story. And if you put up some gaudy numbers at Penn State, we might have to do this again.
Maybe. Thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're always a great storyteller. And like I said, every time I mention your name, no matter who it is, people speak fondly of you. And I'd like to remind my audience just how much influence, how much of an inspiration, how much of a difference you have made in the sport of basketball, even if you don't realize it yet.
Man, thank you so much.
Well, Ivane Tensaie, you can watch her hoop it up starting next winter at Penn State in the Big Ten Conference. And as we mentioned, you'll get to see her at least once if you're a Twin Cities fan who wants to see her play with the Big Ten Women's Basketball Tournament coming to Target Center for at least the next couple of years. So if you want to watch some high-level basketball and didn't get a chance to see the Women's Final Four, you have another opportunity to do so. And hopefully Ivane will have a few three-pointers up her sleeve. I'm pretty sure she's already got that stroke ready to go.
For sure.
And as always, if you'd like to be a guest on a future episode of this podcast, we're always available. Just contact us at the Mike Peden on social media. If you've got a story, we're happy to share it. So until next time, thanks for watching.